What's good, folks? Once again, this is your host SilentMode, maker, artist, and LEGO enthusiast. I see Alexandria there in the chat. How you doing? Thank you for joining me once again. We're going to have a rather relaxed but somewhat short live stream today, due in part to the unexpected popularity of last night's stream. I went out, as I said in the description of this particular live stream, and bought some more of these sets. I'm going to build just one of them today. Picked entirely at random. I went for the computer, which happens to be the parts, or rather the set that has the most parts in this series. And this is also one of the models that I wanted. So without further ado, I'm going to open this up and get started. And before I continue with any form of building, hope you guys are doing alright. And as always, hopefully a lot better than I am. Good to hear you're doing well, Alexandria. Now, I was a little bit more excited than usual to do a live stream today, so I guess I started early. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes. And what's probably going to happen, unless something comes up, is I'll do one of these streams almost every day this week. I'm going to be out on Friday. But I have 3 more of these to build after this stream, and then there's some sorting I want to make up for lost streaming time, let's just say. Okay, this is the difficult bits. I don't really want to whip out my Swiss Army knife. I don't think it's that necessary, so I'll just tear this off. There we go. Right, so I did think the computer was off color, but it's actually a tan color. Could say it's representing, white plastic that yellowed over time, but back in the day, I think most things were beige. And this is the closest thing that we have to beige. We have this, which is, I guess Lego's equivalent would be the piece of string with 2 studs attached. But because this is a different brand, we've got to do the tying ourselves, it looks like. Or maybe I got it wrong. Maybe it's assembled some other way. Anyway, what have you been up to today, Alexandria? If you don't mind me asking. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am feeling a little bit better about being here. Although, in order to be productive again, I need a couple of things, or at least I do in my opinion. The first is some heating, and the second is a dedicated desk. So, oops. So that won't happen, first of all. And second of all, to better organize things. Okay, you built the lower half of your Santa Claus upscale minifigure. I actually didn't know there was one, but it stands to reason there is one. I actually sold my upscale minifigure, the one that I built quite some time ago on the live stream, simply because it was just sitting there. How's it going, Never Too Old? So today we're building the computer of this series. I actually went out and bought the other 4 models, and I have them in the bag. This one was chosen at random, and of course you're going to see me build the other ones as they get picked, but this one is the only one I'm going to build tonight. Let's see if I can follow these instructions. there's 2 more of these. How are you doing, Never Too Old? I do have the radio. And yes, I'm very lucky actually that they identify what sets are which on the outside. So I think it goes like this. It's not entirely clear, but if I look at the next step, maybe so. Yeah, so Alexandria is building a Santa Claus, or we used to call it Father Christmas over here, upscale minifigure, which I didn't know existed, but it makes sense. I would think these sets are right up your street, Never Too Old, and they have other series as well in a similar format. They have, over here anyway, they have some botanical sets, and they have almost said sushi, but they have Japanese dishes. So if you ask me nicely, I may have a look at those, or maybe that's something that Never Too Old can tackle on his channel. Where is that? There it is. Okay. But yes, it is almost a shame that I don't keep up to date with LEGO releases, and there's various reasons for that. Won't get into that. But I used to be on the ball when it came to that. It helped that I was a member of different online LEGO groups. They would usually post these exclusives and things. I stay away from leaked information, however. And there was a time when I got excited about various releases and things. Now not so much. I think it helps that I already have way too much LEGO for the amount that I build, so I don't really need any more. With that said, assuming that I have the funds, I am planning on visiting a LEGO store and buying a whole bunch of sets, which I'll probably build in future live streams. Yeah, there's food. Okay, there's a dinosaur one as well, but my store has the food and the flowers. I haven't heard of the dinosaurs or seen the dinosaurs one. Yeah, so what I have been doing actually is, that's what we have at the moment. What I've been doing is whatever sets I've built on live streams, I end up selling. I sell them as previously built, disassemble them before selling, of course. And that's simply to make room. They got a pizza. That'll be interesting to see. I haven't seen that one. There's another one of these interesting 4x4 plates with the notches on the sides. The only sets I haven't sold are the Speed Champions ones, because I like cars. I particularly like the Fast and Furious cars. But yeah, other than those, I don't really see the point of keeping sets after I built them, because as I mentioned in, I think it was the Game Boy live stream, a lot of these sets these days are just designed to build and then stare at. I like to, well, when I was younger anyway, maybe just as much now, but I liked actually playing with sets. Right. See if I can put it up like that so you guys can see it as well as I can. Ah, misread. That's fine. Have I seen the Goonies sets? I have seen. I've seen the thumbnail of a video by the new Elementary. I haven't examined the sets. It looks like half of a ship, though, if I understand correctly. So I can't really comment on it, but hey, congratulations to whoever submitted it as an idea set. I believe it is a LEGO Ideas set. I have absolutely no reason to get it, but I'm pretty sure people will be entirely pleased with it. Now, I'm pretty sure some people have an issue with LEGO essentially releasing half of a model, but there will be plenty of people who will they'll probably get two of them and they'll make a complete ship. I think that seems to be the thing these days. Just as I'm pretty sure that somebody's bought 2 Death Stars department stores and they've put them together to make a complete one. Oh, that's the wrong place. How much does it cost, by the way? Well, I'm assuming it's going to be in the maybe £200–300 mark. I think I missed something there. 325, I'm going to assume US dollars. Okay, that's not very clear. I think this goes here. That would make some sense. Okay, 325 US dollars. I'd say that's roughly 300 Great British pounds, which aren't so great anymore. Okay. Well, I wonder what the gift with purchase is. Even so, I would honestly say, and this isn't sour grapes at all, they're if I were to add up the total cost of all the Lego sets I would buy, it would probably be less than, or it would probably come to around 500. And I certainly wouldn't look to spend that much on a single set. Okay, yeah, that would be a nice idea for a gift with purchase. Actually, I remember that scene from the movie. That'd be quite a nice one. Another nice idea is, I don't know if you remember one of the opening scenes from the movie where I think one of the characters is going downhill on a bike. Maybe that would be an official set at some point, but I think that would be a nice idea. Wouldn't necessarily buy it, but to complete everything, that would be a cool idea. Right, starting to take shape. Personally, I think this should be a slightly lighter tan color, but I guess it's trying to match the official Lego color. I'm actually surprised, although I suppose it's going to appeal more to the older crowds. Well, thinking about it, actually, that an idea set has to get 10,000 supporters, it's probably not that surprising that it succeeded. I certainly think that Stranger Things had a hand in the popularity of the Goonies with the younger crowd, certainly. What do you mean by that, Alexandria? I'm thinking. See, I thought about that in terms of people buying the sets to invest in. I would certainly assume, however, that a lot of people these days probably would have no idea about the 80s. Oh yes, I mentioned very briefly the idea of building a speak and spell. I could certainly have a go at designing one. Just as an exercise, I'm pretty sure somebody else will have a lot more success on Lego ideas. But yeah, I still think that would be a pretty cool official set. What do you guys reckon? Should I have a go at designing a speak and spell? But yes, I was asking, in what sense do you think people would fear missing out with regards to the Goonie set? Okay, you guys asked for it. I'll give it a shot. So I'll make you guys a deal. Once I'm done building these retro sets, we could certainly have a look at least attempting to model one of those things, and if it works out well, maybe submit it as a Lego ideas set and get maybe 10 supporters at the most. So, I'm kidding. Hey, just a second. How's it going, Blitz? My Pet Monster. Oh, the name rings a bell. I'd have to look that up. Yeah, I remember some of these older things, but some of them I have to be reminded of. Hello, Cosmic Bricks, aka Owen. What are we building here? I think it's the screen. Yep, we're building the screen. Alright, so there is a little bit of shine on this, but it's nowhere near as shiny as it suggests on the instructions. Not too fussed, I'll have to admit. Alright, so instead of getting just 3 of these double brackets, they gave us 6 of the single ones. Interesting. And we stick them on this side, I think. Oh dear. Well, I guess it is the time of year to be ill with the ever-changing weather and everything, but I hope you make a speedy recovery, Owen. And I don't deal with spiders at all, so I have absolutely no recollection of spider puppets. So again, with these reverse curved slopes, you got these notches here, and it's not quite a curved slope. It's quite odd, but that's how they've done it. I guess it's not a direct copy if they add some of those features. And for some reason they decided to do the screen this way, so these two bottom things here plug into those two short Technic bars, like so. Interesting technique. So I remember the first time I caught the Wuhan special. It was by far the worst instance of a cold or a flu that I ever had. I thought I was a goner, and then eventually I recovered, but yeah, it was pretty bad. So I first got it before they called it a pandemic, and they started locking everything down. And since then, I think I've had it a total of 4 times. Thank you, Owen. Thank you again. I appreciate it. And yes, I added that noise whenever somebody does a super chat. So yeah, I would say fruit juices, orange juice, lemon juice, chicken soup as well. Some people swear on Sprite or 7-Up. Anything that's going to help with recovering from this thing. These are pretty much the same as Lego elements. You had me wondering, Owen, who's 500? But yeah, in all seriousness though, if you know, super chats are great, so I appreciate that. I appreciate everything I get, but if you are going to donate something big like that, it is probably better to use a different form, such as PayPal. I've got a PayPal link in the video description. Never Too Old had a great idea as well, with the Amazon wish list. I've got to update my wish list. Oh, I see we got one of these forbidden pieces, the 2-way 1x2 plates. Now Lego won't release these, or they won't put out their own version of these. Instead they'll use all kinds of pieces to simulate it, but we have one right here. So far so good. Alright, I think we're getting fairly close to the end, but there's still plenty more to build. I'll tell you what I found the other day and I knew I had it somewhere, but I completely forgot where I put it. A fairly small cache of watermelon Red Bull. I got it quite a while ago, and they're actually pretty good. So I will drink the occasional Red Bull, but I don't want to depend on energy drinks. I guess I'm more of a coffee drinker. Okay. Six of them sounds lethal. I don't think I could ever have 6 in one day in any circumstance, but you know what, to each their own. If you can handle it, then it's all good. So it looks like this is the complete units. And this kind of resembles those old school Apple Macs. I had the pleasure of using them once, or a few times, but I've always been more of a PC person, except when it comes to jokes. And you can't see my reflection in there, can you? No, good. Yeah, this is actually a computer. There is a television set, which will get built eventually. Okay, and I think this is the keyboard that we're building now. This. This reminds me, I actually had a pretty cool idea for a project involving an official LEGO set, although I suspect somebody's already done it. And this is one of the hang-ups I had, the idea of somebody already having done something that I wanted to do. But at the same time, I think, you know what, why not do it myself? Why not challenge myself to do it anyway? But we'll see. If I have the ability and I have the time, I may pursue it anyway, and you guys will see what exactly I'm talking about. I'm also reminded again, and hopefully it can be set up, but I would very much like to set up a Brick Therapy Secret Santa. Interesting way of putting this together. Is that correct? Oh no, we shift this to the left a little bit. So if it's like this. Okay, so it's quite unstable, but it'll do, I guess. But we add some things underneath to stabilize it, I think. So one here, one here, and then this thing here. A little bit more stable. And then the last few pieces go together like this. This is where the double-sided thing comes into play. And this actually is an old school mouse. Very old school. Alright, so the last thing is we've got to put this thing together. And there's two of them, so we essentially got to tie some knots in the string. This is one thing I don't like about third-party construction toys. When it comes to things like this, you have to assemble them yourself. And that goes for minifigures, hinge pieces, anything that involves a joint. If I can even grip this thing. So let's see if I can get this. Let's see if I can get this in. Alright, that's in there. And let's try and tie the first knots with my big bulky fingers. I think a pair of tweezers would help with this. And it doesn't help that this is a very short piece of string. Let's see. Okay, just happen to have a pair of tweezers here. This is pretty bad, actually, that they expect you to do this yourself. Whoops. Okay. You know what? One thing I didn't think of, I'll just take this out. We could thread the, we could do a knots on one end. That'll make things a little bit simpler. Then push it through and then tie the knots on the other ends after pushing it through. If I can figure out how to do this. Almost there. I thought I was almost there. I think most of you will struggle with this, but I may have it. Okay, just about. There we go. That's one. I'll put this through. It goes on that end. Cool. Doing okay for time, although I'd like to get this done before the hour. Okay. Got it. Okay, that's one, sort of. And then there's a slightly longer one. Guess it's good that I did the shorter one first. And then we'll do the same thing. Tie the knot in one end, we'll thread okay, never mind. This way is easier, so I'm doing it this way. dear. Okay, I think I messed that one up. Gosh, apologies folks, I didn't realize this was going to be such a challenge. They really did save the best for last. Okay. Oh dear. This isn't good. It's gone completely quiet in the chat. I will get this done eventually. If it takes that long, I'll do it off stream. Oh dear. Just going to chop the end off of this to make it a little bit simpler. There we go. No problem, Blitz. But yeah, this is... I don't know, maybe it's me, but this is ridiculously hard. Okay, you know what? I'm going to skip this step because it's actually quite frustrating to get to the end of this and then have to deal with threading things through things. What I'll probably do is, I mean, I'm tempted to 3D print something as an alternative to this, and then I'll just substitute the piece. Alright, so let me look at the instructions. It looks as if the longer piece is for the mouse and the shorter piece is for the keyboard, so we can attach the keyboard. And that attaches here. Now personally, I would have used a hose piece to keep things as simple as possible. Although it's not as, you know, the hose piece isn't as flexible, so I guess I understand why they went with that. As far as the mouse goes, we can just lie and say it's a wireless mouse. I know they didn't have wireless mice back in the day, or at least I don't think they did. But if there were wireless mice, I think they'd be this chunky anyway. But there we have it. Again, there are no spare pieces in this set. There was a spare piece with the telephone. Britain Bricks had me check earlier today, and I can confirm that the The spare red cheese slope was a spare, but this one doesn't have any spare pieces. And this is the results. We got this old school computer. It looks close enough to a old school computer. I'm guessing this is where you put your floppy disk in. Remember those? And you got an old school keyboard with the big keys, and then you got what I'm calling a wireless mouse. And it looks alright actually. I think that there are some third-party computer sets which I wouldn't mind getting a hold of that look quite similar to this one. But otherwise, considering the price, considering the availability, I think this is pretty decent. And I guess this is another thing that I could, excuse me, consider having a go at making myself. So yeah, the old school trackballs, that would be interesting to try and model, I think. But yeah, the old school computers, I remember they had these big mice. This is probably a luxury one because it has 2 buttons. I think some of the older ones had just 1 button. But there we go. That is the set, and we are 3 deep. So we built the arcade machine. We built today. We built the computer, and we've got the telephone. So Never Too Old wants to see the radio. I wanted the television set, and then we got the old school instant film camera as well. Those are coming soon, and I've also got a few bits to sort as well, so I'm going to be rather busy while I'm unpacking and trying to get things back in order. But yes, I'm going to call the end of the live stream now, and thank you guys once again for playing along. I really appreciate it, and thank you to Owen once again for the super chats. That is greatly appreciated. So until the next live stream, whenever it is, this has been SilentMode, maker, artist, and LEGO enthusiast, encouraging you all as always to do your thing.